In the heart of ancient tales, a cataclysmic event shakes the earth, a flood so immense that it drowns entire civilizations. But what if this wasn't just a story? What if the accounts of a great deluge echo in cultures around the world, each with its own twist? From Mesopotamia to the Americas, legends speak of a time when the skies opened up and the waters rose, swallowing everything in their path. Imagine a world where the line between myth and reality blurs. Could this flood be a shared memory of a real disaster, or merely a figment of our collective imagination? As we explore this mysterious phenomenon, we'll uncover astonishing parallels in ancient texts and artifacts that challenge what we think we know. And here's a question for you: what if the truth lies buried beneath centuries of interpretation? What secrets does the story hold that could change our understanding of history itself? Let's dive deep into the currents of these ancient narratives, peeling back layers of time to reveal the truths that may just lie beneath the surface. Get ready for a journey that promises to reshape your perception of one of history's most enigmatic events. When we dive into the historical and archaeological perspectives on ancient flood narratives, it's fascinating to see how different cultures have recorded similar catastrophic events. Archaeologists have unearthed evidence that suggests significant flooding events occurred in various regions of the world, particularly in the Mesopotamian basin and along the banks of the Nile in ancient Egypt. These findings often include sediment layers, ancient flood marks, and even remnants of structures that were likely submerged. The question arises, do these archaeological findings support the stories of great floods we find in ancient texts, or do they refute them? In Mesopotamia, for instance, the Euphrates and Tigris rivers have a long history of flooding. Archaeologists have discovered deposits that indicate major flood events, which some scholars argue could very well align with the biblical flood narrative. It's intriguing to consider how these ancient peoples would have interpreted such natural disasters at the time. Were they seen as divine punishment, or merely as an unfortunate act of nature? This blend of natural history and cultural interpretation offers a rich tapestry for understanding the human experience in the face of overwhelming forces. On the other hand, when we look at the evidence from ancient Egypt, the story takes a slightly different turn. The Nile's annual flooding was often viewed positively, as it brought fertile silt to the fields, essential for agriculture. This perspective highlights how the interpretation of flooding can vary greatly depending on the cultural context. The Egyptians celebrated their floods through festivals, seeing them as a form of renewal rather than destruction. This contrast raises another question: how do cultural perceptions influence the narratives that emerge from such events? Moreover, while some archaeological evidence supports the occurrence of significant flooding, other findings suggest that these events were more localized rather than global catastrophes. This discrepancy leads to ongoing debates among historians and archaeologists about whether the biblical accounts and similar myths are based on real events or are purely metaphorical. The challenge lies in piecing together the fragments of history, oral traditions, and archaeological findings to form a cohesive understanding of our past. Finally, as we examine these historical and archaeological perspectives, it becomes evident that the narratives we hold dear today are often shaped by the lens of time and culture. The interplay between evidence and interpretation adds layers of complexity to our understanding of ancient floods, making it a captivating subject for both scholars and casual readers alike. Now, shifting gears to the comparison of flood myths across cultures, it's remarkable how these stories appear in diverse societies, each with its own unique twist. Take the story of Noah from the Bible, for instance. This narrative of divine intervention, where Noah is warned of an impending flood and instructed to build an ark to save his family and pairs of every animal, has resonated through centuries. But how does this compare to the flood myth of Gilgamesh from ancient Mesopotamia, where the hero Utanapishtim also builds a boat to survive a divine deluge? Both myths share striking similarities, including the notion of a chosen survivor, the construction of a vessel, and the eventual sending out of birds to find land. However, the motivations behind the floods differ. In the Bible, God's decision to flood the earth is portrayed as a reaction to humanity's wickedness, while in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the gods flood the earth due to overpopulation and noise. This variance in motivation highlights how different cultures interpret the relationship between humans and the divine. Furthermore, while Noah's story emphasizes faith and obedience, the Gilgamesh narrative speaks more to themes of mortality and the quest for eternal life. It begs the question, what can we learn about the values and concerns of these ancient societies through their flood myths? Each story reflects a deep-seated need to explain the unexplainable, revealing cultural anxieties and moral lessons that transcend time. Interestingly, these myths also serve as a means of cultural cohesion, offering a shared narrative that binds communities together. They provide frameworks through which societies can understand their world, their place within it, and the forces that govern their lives. The act of storytelling itself becomes an essential tool for preserving history and imparting wisdom, ensuring that the lessons of the past are not forgotten. In light of these comparisons, it's clear that flood myths are more than just tales of disaster. They are intricate narratives that reveal the complexities of human experience. As we explore these stories, we gain insight into the values, fears, and hopes that shaped ancient civilizations, reminding us that while the specifics may differ, the human condition remains a common thread throughout history. In many religious traditions, the story of the flood carries profound theological implications. For the Judeo-Christian perspective, the narrative serves as a powerful reminder of divine judgment and mercy. The flood, as recounted in the Bible, is seen not just as a historical event, but as a moral lesson about humanity's propensity for sin and the consequences that follow. This interpretation invites believers to reflect on their actions and the state of their relationship with the divine, emphasizing the importance of repentance and moral integrity. Moreover, the flood story underscores themes of covenant and promise. After the waters recede, God establishes a covenant with Noah, symbolized by the rainbow. This commitment signifies not only God's mercy but also a call for humanity to uphold ethical standards. This narrative element is particularly resonant, as it suggests that despite humanity's failings, there is always hope for redemption. The flood serves as a backdrop against which the concepts of grace and forgiveness are vividly illustrated. In addition, the flood narrative has sparked discussions about the nature of God. Is God merely a vengeful figure, or is there a deeper layer of complexity to his character? The flood leads to debates on divine justice, whether it is a fair response to human wrongdoing. The theological discourse surrounding the flood encourages believers to grapple with these challenging questions, ultimately fostering a more nuanced understanding of their faith. Furthermore, the implications of the flood extend beyond individual morality. They touch on communal responsibilities and the need for societal integrity. The flood narrative serves as a cautionary tale, warning societies about the potential consequences of collective immorality. In this light, it calls for vigilance in maintaining ethical standards within communities, urging collective action toward righteousness. Lastly, the theological interpretation of the flood also opens avenues for interfaith dialogue. Different religious traditions have their own versions of flood stories, each with unique lessons and implications. By exploring these narratives, individuals can gain insights into how various faiths approach themes of judgment, redemption, and the moral fabric of society, fostering a broader understanding of shared human values. The study of mass flooding events is not just the domain of ancient texts and theological discussions, it also invites scientific inquiry into the Earth's history. Scientists have proposed various theories regarding catastrophic flooding events, particularly during the end of the last ice age around 12,000 years ago. One prominent theory suggests that the melting of glacial ice led to significant rises in sea levels, causing catastrophic flooding in coastal regions and river valleys. These events would have dramatically reshaped landscapes and ecosystems. Moreover, geological evidence supports the occurrence of rapid and extensive flooding. Sediment layers, for instance, reveal patterns consistent with sudden inundations, which can be linked to glacial melting. In addition, researchers have identified ancient floodplains and river terraces that indicate previous high water marks, providing a tangible connection to past flooding events. This scientific analysis enriches our understanding of how such natural disasters have influenced human settlement and migration patterns over millennia. The repercussions of these ancient floods were not merely environmental, they also had profound impacts on human societies. Communities faced with rising waters had to adapt quickly or risk annihilation. This necessity for adaptation likely spurred innovations in engineering, agriculture, and social organization. By examining the interplay between natural disasters and human resilience, researchers can glean insights into the ways civilizations respond to environmental challenges. Furthermore, the discourse around flooding today remains relevant in the context of climate change. As global temperatures rise, scientists warn of increasingly severe weather events, including heavy rainfall and flooding. Understanding historical flood patterns can inform modern disaster preparedness and response strategies. This intersection of past and present highlights the importance of learning from history to mitigate future risks. Lastly, the scientific examination of flood events not only informs our understanding of the Earth's geological history but also enriches cultural narratives. By correlating ancient stories of floods with geological evidence, we can appreciate how these tales may have stemmed from real events. This blending of science and storytelling invites a deeper exploration of humanity's relationship with nature, encouraging a more integrated approach to understanding our world. The story of the flood has permeated various facets of culture and literature, becoming a powerful symbol of destruction and renewal. Through the ages, artists and writers have drawn on this narrative to explore themes that resonate universally, such as survival, rebirth, and the human condition. It's fascinating how a story that originated in ancient texts continues to inspire contemporary works, demonstrating the timelessness of its message. Whether it's a painting, a poem, or a novel, the echoes of the flood story can be felt in various creative expressions. One of the most prominent examples of this influence is found in literature. From the epic tales of the ancient world, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, to modern novels, authors have frequently used the flood motif to examine humanity's relationship with nature and divine forces. The idea of a great deluge often serves as a backdrop for personal journeys of growth and transformation. Writers use the flood as a metaphor for cleansing and renewal, illustrating how characters must confront their pasts to emerge stronger, much like the earth reborn after a catastrophic event. Art, too, has been deeply influenced by the flood narrative. Renowned painters, such as J.M.W. Turner and Gustave Doré, have created breathtaking interpretations of the biblical deluge. These artworks capture not just the chaos and destruction of the floodwaters, but also the sense of awe and wonder that such an event inspires. They invite viewers to reflect on the fragility of life and the power of nature, evoking emotions that are both unsettling and cathartic. In these depictions, the flood transcends mere storytelling, becoming a profound commentary on existence itself. In popular culture, the flood narrative has taken on new forms, appearing in films, television shows, and even video games. Movies like Noah, directed by Darren Aronofsky, reimagine the biblical story, offering new interpretations that stir public discourse about faith, morality, and environmentalism. These modern adaptations often emphasize the ethical dilemmas faced by characters in the face of divine judgment and natural disaster, prompting audiences to consider their own values and beliefs. By situating the ancient story in contemporary contexts, creators make the flood relevant to today's societal issues. Furthermore, the themes of destruction and renewal inherent in the flood narrative resonate deeply with current global challenges, such as climate change and natural disasters. As communities face the consequences of environmental degradation, the story serves as a poignant reminder of humanity's vulnerability and the need for resilience. Artists and writers are increasingly using the flood as a lens through which to explore these pressing issues, urging society to reflect on its relationship with the planet. In this way, the flood narrative not only endures but evolves, remaining a vital part of cultural discourse. The narrative of the flood encapsulates a range of universal themes that continue to engage audiences today. One significant theme is the idea of judgment and consequence. Many versions of the flood story depict a world rife with corruption and moral decay, leading to divine retribution through a catastrophic flood. This theme resonates with readers and viewers who grapple with questions of morality and justice in their own lives. Such narratives prompt reflection on the consequences of human actions, emphasizing the need for ethical behavior and accountability. Another theme is the concept of hope and renewal following devastation. After the waters recede, the remnants of life often symbolize the possibility of rebirth. This cyclical nature of destruction and regeneration mirrors the experiences of many individuals and communities that have faced adversity. The idea that from the ashes of catastrophe, new life can emerge is a powerful message that offers solace and inspiration. It encourages people to remain hopeful, even in the darkest times, and to recognize the potential for growth in the aftermath of hardship. The theme of survival is also central to the flood narrative. Characters who endure the deluge often embody resilience and determination. Their journeys serve as testaments to the human spirit's capacity to overcome challenges and adapt to changing circumstances. This theme resonates widely as many individuals face their own personal floods, be it emotional struggles, health crises, or societal upheaval. The stories of survival remind us that while challenges may be daunting, the human spirit has an incredible ability to endure and thrive. Moreover, the flood narrative often explores the relationship between humanity and the divine. Characters in these stories frequently grapple with questions of faith, purpose, and the nature of existence. The tension between human agency and divine will invite contemplation about the role of fate in our lives. This theme encourages introspection, prompting individuals to consider their beliefs and the larger forces at play in their experiences. Such reflections can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and one's place in the universe. Lastly, the flood narrative serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of human hubris. Many interpretations of the story emphasize the inevitability of downfall when humanity oversteps its bounds, whether through moral corruption, environmental negligence, or disregard for the divine. This theme remains particularly relevant today, as society faces the repercussions of unsustainable practices and ethical dilemmas. By reflecting on the lessons of the flood, individuals and communities can strive for a more harmonious existence, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. As we wrap up our deep dive into the Great Flood, let's take a moment to reflect on its incredible significance. Whether you see it as a global myth or a profound biblical truth, the story has shaped cultures and beliefs for thousands of years. Isn't it fascinating how tales of a massive flood appear in so many civilizations? What does that tell us about our shared human experience? Now, consider this: if the flood really did happen, what lessons could we learn from it today? Are we heeding the warnings about our own environmental crises? And if it's merely a myth, what deeper truths about humanity and morality does it convey? As we ponder these questions, think about how the flood narrative influences our understanding of justice and mercy. Could it be that this ancient story is more relevant than ever? Before we close, I want to hear from you. What do you think the flood represents in our modern world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, there's so much more to uncover in the realm of biblical mysteries. So, make sure to subscribe and join us next time as we explore another captivating story that's sure to challenge your perspective.